Welcome to the Hobby Hangout with Azu and Dave. You ready to talk?
Well, just stole my line.
All right, so we're going to talk about Judgment today, right?
Yes. We just finished our game, and we're excited to talk about it with everyone else in terms of like a little bit more of how we got into it and why we actually like it. So why don't you start telling us how, because you were the one that found it first, so how did you hear about it?
Yes. So one of my colleagues at work, she, outside of the hobby store, her husband has a hobby store and they live in Florida. So we're always talking about games and miniature games and board games, stuff like that. But she shared that he was trying a game called Judgment. And that, he really enjoyed it. It was small scale skirmish. And she was just sharing that on one of my conversations. So I looked it up and I was like, oh, it's from Creature Caster. I was familiar with Creature Caster, being a Canadian company, and making some really nice demon models. They make a lot of demon models, and I had purchased a couple of demons, some of the Ecstasy line, which were like Slanesh, and then one of the Corn ones, kind of. So I have those. We've never painted them, but I have them. But they're built. They're built and primed. But yeah, I love their models, and when I saw that they had an actual game, it piqued my interest, right? So that's what really drove me to investigate it further and get some more information around it, and how it came up on our radar, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, when was this about? Was it before we acquired the store or after?
I think it was before we acquired the store.
I feel like it would have been around the time when we were trying to find what kind of a tabletop war game we will get into, and we were exploring our options. I'm wondering if maybe this came up right around the time.
Yeah, so that's how it came up, and then we started investigating it. I guess what do you think really drove us to dive further into it once we started reaching out?
Well, I mean, I would say that it's probably Simon's enthusiasm.
Yeah.
It just, because I remember we had a call with him, and we had, with the tabletop simulator, we had kind of like an overview of what it was. Because I remember we were like, well, what is this going to be like if it's not, there's no growing community, or not that we knew about. So what is this going to look like, especially as we were trying to bring it into the store? And so I remember we only did like maybe 2 or 3 turns. And I was like, yeah, I can see myself playing this game. Even with all of it's not as great to play online. But just like the mechanics of it, like everything about it just seemed like very interesting. Similar in the way that, as of other skirmish games, but different enough to, I don't know, to like, be a different thing, right? A unique thing, yeah.
Yeah, it was low model counts, and I think the big thing that you kind of highlighted was you like the strategic part of it, right? Like there was a lot of strategy involved.
It's strategy, but I feel like just looking at my model cards, they're straightforward in the sense that, they have certain skills, like 2, 3, and then they might upgrade, but it's not like I don't have to read a whole rule book for my characters to be able to figure out what to do with them. But it's complex in the sense that, well, how does this, one character interact with my other one? How are they going to interact against others? And so it's very strategic, and just kind of like what we were talking after the game, right? That you said that you like going after the souls. I like going for the kill and getting my souls that way. So, like for example, when I was playing Spearhead, like I go for the kill all the time, and that didn't help me, right? Because at the end of the day, everything was based on, well, who got all of the objectives and scored the cards. And in this one, you can still get souls by killing. So I kind of like that more about this one, because it fits more my style.
There's a lot of there's different ways to win.
Yes.
Right? One of the big things that drew me to the game, just having played a lot of other games, was that it was low model count, but not just low model count. You didn't lose your heroes. Because that's one thing that I don't like in a lot of other games is, you paint up a nice army, you come to the table, and they just get blown off the table, and you're playing. You don't get to play with the models that you put so much effort into, which I think has started changing in some games. Because like Shatterpoint, you can still kill people. It's just very hard, and it's not worth it to invest the time to try and kill people completely. But in this game, like, you can still attack aggressively, kill them off, but they're going to come back. Yes, they're going to be at a disadvantage when they come back, but they're still going to come back. So I like that aspect of this game, that you have your heroes, you're always going to have them available, but you have to be strategic because you can't just let them die because they're not going to be as powerful or as effective, right?
Yeah. The other thing that I like, it's interesting, and we haven't done it, but it's where you bring your 5 models if you're going to play a 3 versus 3, and you get to ban.
I did it with Brandon.
Yeah? How did that go?
It was good, yeah.
Yeah.
It made me think, like, it added that initial step of looking through his list and really trying to figure out, okay, who am I going to allow and how am I going to play around it? So I ended up letting him bring Gendris, but he did not, I think he only got his lightning strike off once, because I just nullified, I did not keep anyone within 2, so he wasn't able to take advantage of that skill. But through that banning list and looking at everybody, it's like, okay, that's what I'm going to try and target as part of this.
And I guess reviewing that list, it also pushes you to be aware of the skills of the others. Whereas if you just come in with your 3 that you're playing with, it's like you're just learning as you go if you're not familiar with them. Yeah. Or at least that's how I am.
I think the other thing that really sold it for me was what came in the starter box.
Yes.
Like, realistically, I know they have, I think, 60 heroes that are available. So it's a lot of models that you can get. And there's a lot of variety in the warbands you can create. But realistically, you don't need it. Yeah. At least not to start the game and get into it, right? Everything you need to play the game is in the starter box. You get your effigies, you get 10 heroes.
Tokens, dice.
Yeah, 2 monsters, because there's monsters in the game, which I also like. The fact that you don't just have to play player versus player. There's a monster on the board that you can engage with. And some of the monsters are very powerful.
Or the monster is going to engage with you.
Yeah, exactly. If you don't deal with it, it's going to engage with you. And some of them are strong and can really hurt you. I really like that aspect of the game. There's just a lot of variety, a lot of strategy, a lot of different ways you can win, I guess, or avenues to win the game.
Yeah.
And that's what really appealed to me.
And I think that kind of brings us to the success that, I consider it a success at the store, right?
Like you said, we had no community. We were starting from 0.
And I think, there's a few things, right? Like, one is just, as you mentioned, right, it's the price accessibility where, you get, it's like less than 200. I can't remember the price right now, but it's less than 200. And in that, you get already a full set of heroes, the mat, the tokens for 2 players to play right away. Not right away, you have to build it, but...
It's a neoprene mat. No, you don't have to build the characters. They come pre-built.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All this time I thought you had helped me build them and prime them.
The heroes that you buy outside, yes, the additional heroes you buy, you do have to build.
Oh, okay.
But everything in the core set comes built.
Okay, I did not know that. Yeah. So my characters that I did buy separately, those ones. Yeah. So I can't remember seeing pieces there.
But that's what I mean. You can play directly out of the box.
Yes.
Which is awesome. And it's a nice mat. It's a nice neoprene mat. And the artwork on the back is really nice too.
And it's also got the stitching around the border. But so for the price point, for 2 people to play, and then not only that, but on top of that, we also partnered with Crittercaster to be able to offer an even better price for anyone that joined the Learn to Play.
Yeah, so you're to have focused Learn to Play events.
And you ran how many, 3 of them?
Yeah.
Yeah, and every time we did a discount for anyone who attended, and I think that a lot of people ended up buying in the box, right?
Yeah.
And so then from there we started the league, and right now we're at 8 people.
8 regular players.
8 regular players. There's, I know, 2 more that are interested they're just not ready to commit to the to it. But
which is fine. Yeah. Not
yeah, I
everybody
know.
has to
I'm with the
be
summer
players,
right now. Yeah. But I think that just like when we're playing at the store and everyone is like so into it, and then you get people walking in and then they're looking like, oh, what are they doing? And you know, this looks interesting. And so I think that that's how one of the other players, maybe potential future player, kind of got interested, right? Because we were doing the board games on the one side, but then you have to walk through the players doing judgment. And so they wanted to give it a try, and they did, and it seems like they enjoyed it. But I think that having that community where you know you have someone to play with, I think that that's a huge key to success.
And I mean, Simon is definitely a big help in creating that community and just supporting us, talking to us, walking us through not just the demo, but just having regular conversations with us. And then when we went to BC, actually organizing a game with us at their local store.
That was fun.
That was fun. That was a really great free-for-all match.
Yeah.
And really just getting a lot of that hands-on direct with Simon it just helped his enthusiasm for the game just translated to us, so then we came back and drove that enthusiasm. And it's just great to see everybody in our league is so enthusiastic about the game, right?
Yeah.
So,
and I think that some people have even reached out to Simon directly as well.
I think so, yeah. And I think they've all joined the Creature Caster, the Judgment Discord server as well. So I know they've been active there. They've even promoted our store there for others that are looking for games in our area, or at least in Ontario.
And I mean, I really like it that there's so many people that are way better at this, like understanding the rules and everything. Because then that means that they really liked it.
And it helps, right? When we're playing games, you lean over and ask, what's your thoughts on this rule interpretation? Or how are we supposed to do this if we don't remember the rule, right?
Or just in our chat. And I know that channel in particular is the most active channel from our server. And like, I know that every time that I open Discord, I know that there's going to be at least one message there. And if you don't check it in a few hours, it's like, oh, what did I miss?
Oh, I guess the last message in that channel about our game means I'm doing dishes for the year. Is that what they said?
Oh, they said, I haven't checked
does
it.
the dishes for the year or something like that?
Yeah, I think so. Isn't that what you always do?
But no, it was a good game. I really enjoy the game. I really like the community. And even though, like, it is a friendly league, but we're still tracking like wins and losses and everything. So I think everybody's still competitive. But even though we're playing at that slight competitiveness, everyone's still very open. Everyone's willing to demo. When someone's like, "Oh, what is that?"
Yeah.
There's always more than one person that sort of like, "Oh yeah, I can show you. I can show you how to play," which is great because. Not that we don't want to do that, because I did enjoy running those learn to play games, but we only have so much availability and we can't do that for every system. So it's great to see other champions of the game as well starting to grow.
Yeah, and so I think what's next is that we're going to look into doing a tournament.
Yeah, so I think we're going to do, I think the thought is to do a free-for-all tournament with some of the bigger mats, because they do have a larger table map that you can do and play 4 players. I like that aspect too, right? So out of the box, it's a 2-player game, but it does have the potential to scale up to a 4-player game, where you can do 2 versus 2 or just a free-for-all. The
free-for-all gets crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of just that changing of hands. I'm winning, now you're winning, now I'm winning, which is great. And then I think we're also going to maybe run a painting challenge for the summer for all of our Judgment players. Yeah. Yeah,
or maybe potential new players. Who knows?
Yeah.
Why not?
And I know some of our players have been following sort of Creature Caster's Judgment releases. Sorry. And they're looking forward to some of the new heroes that are supposed to be coming out. So hopefully that comes out in the next couple of months and we can start bringing in some of those products.
The funny thing is that when people come by and then they're looking at, especially, like the Warhammer section, and it's like, oh, these are so cool, but they're so expensive. How am I going to get into this? And then I offer them the alternative of a a cheaper game, like cheaper in terms of the price.
Yeah, it's not a cheaper product.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, there's this one and we have a league and whatnot. And then I tell them, and the best part is that there's so many players that if you want, you can just invest in getting like 3 models and get started that way instead of getting the full box and stuff. And I think that people have been spending a lot more just getting the models than they would have had spent just getting the box. Because like the models are really good looking. And I think I really like the idea of, I actually use the app. I remember when I made my list, I was looking at the app and I made my list of all of the models that I like how they look like. And then writing down what kind of tribe they belong to and then what kind of gods they could align to. And then from there I started like trying to figure out how I could build one that was either just the one tribe or the one god alignment. So I like that idea that you can build it just based on those 2 different things, and each of them gives you kind of like a different benefit, right, of when you're triggering your abilities. And so it gives you, like, you can get as many models as you want, and the one model can be reused in different war bands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even under different gods. Most of the characters can align with at least 2 gods.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can even take heroes that are not aligned to your god. They just don't get certain bonuses, but you can still take them.
Yeah. So. But you can't do that with the tribes. If you're
not a tribe, yeah.
When you're a tribe, you have to be the same. But yeah, I think it's interesting, right? Because then you can start figuring out, well, if I'm going to play against this one person and I know what kind of warband they have, maybe I'm going to make this other kind of warband for myself, right? And you have options. And you have options that are, like, again, each of the models are like, what, $40 maybe?
Yeah, they're resin. So they are resin models, so they do have nice detail. But they're not overly complex. Some of the older ones are a little bit complex to put together, but the newer ones, they're sort of redesigning some of them to make them in fewer parts so that they're easier to connect and build. So some of their newer models are very, very nice and very easy to build. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I know they also have STL files, so that's the other thing. Creature Caster does offer the.
You keep saying catcher, why?
Creature Caster does offer the files, so you can print some of their terrain. Instead of the flat terrain, you can have the 3D terrain. I think they have more effigies and the tokens as well, so like the souls and the fate.
And I really like that you can actually build your dice that is aligned to a specific god.
Yeah.
Although I didn't pick the one because I'm not aligned to any god, but I just like these colors, so I just picked these dice.
Yeah, just trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to add about the game. The one other aspect, I guess, that we didn't touch on is, aside from your heroes trying to gain souls or defeat and kill and things like that, you also level up.
Yeah.
And you get to buy items, which I like. So you have a currency in the game, right? You can generate fate, and as you generate fate, you can choose to do certain things in the game, but you can also choose to buy items that will make your characters stronger or give them an advantage in certain situations. And as you kill or acquire souls and you level up, you also gain access to new skills. And some heroes even have like a tree, right? Where you can go this way or that way as you level up and get different skills. So I really like that. Because again, it's another level of strategy in terms of, which of your characters do you want to get that final blow or to collect that soul to level up, so you're getting access to their next skill. Because realistically, you're not going to get everybody, but it's kind of what do you need in this game to win.
I like how it is hard to gain fate, but at the same time, how you can spend it to reroll dice. Because sometimes the dice is just dice rolling. And then also, I like the number of dice that you roll is based on already the difference between how many attacks can you do versus how many the other one can block. Right? Yeah. Because, like, for example, when I was playing the Spearhead, it's like, okay, how many models do I have and how many attacks do they do? So then you roll. And then you roll to wound again. And then the other person has to defend now. So I feel like this is a little bit more straightforward, that just based on your roll, then that's how many wounds you get to do based on, the different thresholds.
And even though you could potentially have a lot more dice if you have a higher melee stat versus the opponent's agility, you only get to pick 3.
Yeah.
Right? So there's still that limit of how much damage you can really do. And sometimes maybe you don't want to do damage. Maybe you just want to move them, right? So you can have that flexibility of choice as well.
Yeah, there's two of my characters that can do something special if I get the maneuvers rather than the straight hits. I mean, it's better to get I don't know what it's called, the judgment, which is the hit and the maneuver, because then that way I can trigger some of the abilities. Otherwise, I mean, it's good to hit, but at the same time, I don't get to use my abilities that are like what makes my character strong.
Too,
yeah,
right?
Exactly. Yeah. So I like that aspect as well of the dice rolling.
And like I'm still learning on some of the terrain, but I do like the fact that terrain does have an impact on the game, but it's not a huge impact, right? Like certain things, even when they're impacting line of sight to a degree, you still, which we learned, like you can still charge in certain cases. So they're not just outright blocking you or impeding your actions, but they still do have an influence in the game, which I like. So it's not a huge influence. But yeah.
And then you have hexes for your
grids,
movement. Yeah. So it's I do like using the measuring tape to see how I'm gonna move. But at the same time, it also makes the games a little bit longer, just trying to figure out where your farthest model is and how far you can move and things like that. So I feel like this is a little more straightforward, and it's just like it's more combat focused than maneuver focused.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then with the app, you can get all of your cards updated
the app is
as
new.
they. Yeah.
It's definitely. I like it. I know there's something about having the tactile cards,
Yeah.
so I understand that, but I do like that it's just so much more compact when you use the app to track your stats. Not everything is tracked in the app though. Like you still want souls, you still want fates on the board and who's activated and things like that. But the fact that you don't need all of your artifact cards to figure out what you're buying, you don't need health tokens to track the health on all your people or level tokens. Like that's all tracked in the app. It really makes it easier to get on the table to set up and play.
When you create your warband, and so it shows you the characters, but then also at the bottom it shows you all of the skills that all of your characters
Special
have.
rule,
Yeah, so you can just click on it, it expands and tells you exactly what the special rule is. So it's better than having to live through the rule book. Like, we still have to go through the rule book a lot of times, but yeah. And it also allows you, when you start the game, it allows you to put in the game of the ID of the opponent so that you can see their stats as well.
Yeah.
And it gets updated as they are updating it on their side, like their health and stuff. You can see that as well. So it's handy.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
All right. So that's Judgment, I think. Anything else?
I'm actually, like, I don't think that you can answer this question, but I think, so you said that it was someone from Florida that told you about it, and I'm just wondering if there's a bigger community in the US than in Canada.
I think that's what Simon shared with us originally when we were talking to him, that Judgment had more success in the US when they launched it. That being said, that they're trying to grow it more in Canada. So I know they had a couple of events in BC. And as we continue to grow this, I think, right now it's primarily focused in North Bay, but in the coming months and year, like I'd like to start expanding it, right? How do we get more people from other cities to come out to some of our events, even if it's not weekly nights, but how do we hold tournaments and things like that focused around Judgment?
So if anyone is, within the driving distance of North Bay, and if you're ever coming through, let us know. Maybe we can plan a game.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you have any questions, let us know.
And give Judgment a try.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a great game.
Reach out to Simon. He's going to get you into it. Yeah. He's going to be more excited than us.
All right. Thanks for joining us.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.